Good morning and welcome to this week's edition of NCompass Live. I am your host, Krista Porter, here at the Nebraska Library Commission. NCompass Live is the Commission's weekly webinar series where we cover a variety of topics that may be of interest to libraries. We broadcast the show live every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time, but the show is recorded, so if you are not able to join us on Wednesdays, that's fine. We do record the show and you can watch it later at your convenience. And I will show you at the end of today's show where you can access all of our show recordings. Both the live show and the recordings are free and open to anyone to watch, so please do share with your friends, family, neighbors, colleagues, anyone you think might be interested in any of the topics we have on NCompass Live. For those of you not from Nebraska, the Nebraska Library Commission is the state agency for libraries here in Nebraska, so similar to your whatever state library. So we provide training and consulting and grants and databases and resources and services to all types of libraries in the state. So you will find shows on NCompass Live for all types of libraries. Public, academic, K-12, corrections, museums, historical societies, et cetera, et cetera. Really, our only criteria is that something to do with libraries. We sometimes have Nebraska Library Commission staff come on and do presentations for us about services and programs and things we offer here through the Library Commission, but we also bring in guest speakers, and that's what we have today. Joining us this morning is, well, it was going to be Tara and Donna from Nelson County Public Library, but Donna was unable to make it today, but that's okay. Tara is going to tell us all about how they've been doing work at their library with partnerships from Rotary to the local bar, unexpected allies in library outreach. So I will hand it over to you, Tara, to fully introduce yourself and tell us about what you've been doing at your library.
All right, thank you. I guess you can hear me, right? Everything.
Yep, yep, sounds
perfect. Good. Like I said, my name is Tara Filiatreau. Typically, I would do this presentation with a coworker, Donna. Like she said, she was not feeling well this morning, so we sent her home. We don't want to get the ick from her. So, so I just want to point out first before we get started, this is a very stripped down version of a presentation. I don't have a lot of fancy slides. There's not a lot of bells or whistles. And I want to just point that out just because I'm hoping that from this program, everyone can take a little something from it. Not everybody's going to walk away today and take everything that we say useful, but hopefully something is helpful to at least one of you out there. And if so, then that's we've done our job. So I just want to kind of start with the home screen here, where you see our public library's logo and our tagline, where the community comes together. So I just really want to point that out. When we did our strategic planning, we were very thoughtful on how our logo was going to look and what our tagline was going to be. And this is where we landed. I mean, I think it speaks volumes kind of for what the things that we're discussing today. Excuse me. And I also just kind of want to start a little bit about how I got into the library business, because if you'd have told me this is where I would have been 15 years ago, I would have definitely not believed you. I actually was sitting in my living room one night and having a glass of wine, and my cell phone rang, and it popped up Nelson County Public Library, and I thought, okay, I know I turned those books back in because I got that, that sneaky little letter you get from the clerk's office around here that says, hey, you haven't turned in your library books. So, so I thought, what in the world are they calling me for? And I answered, and it was the director here at the library, and she had been given my name and phone number from someone through a nonprofit organization I had previously worked for. And said she was interested in talking to me about a job, and I told her I thought she had the wrong number, and there's, I don't know why you would, what are you talking about? She said, no, actually, that's exactly what I want. I want somebody that has no library experience, someone that is from the outside to come in and take a look and tell us, what we can do to improve. And here I am 12 years later, still sitting here. So it worked out.
Yeah, you never know how you're going to get there. Yeah.
Right. So kind of back to the logo here, where the community comes together. That's a lot of what we'll talk about today, but more of not just what we offer the community, but what your community actually has to offer you and how they play a vital role in the success of your library. So to start off, we're going to talk about one of the strongest partnerships that I believe we have currently in our community, and that is our local Rotary Club. And I know not everyone has a local Rotary Club, but if you don't have one in your county, I can assure you there's probably one very close that you can get in touch with. So first of all, what is Rotary? Well, I guess the technical definition is a global network of community volunteers known as Rotarians who dedicate their time and their resources to address pressing issues around the world. So that's kind of, you know, the lay it out there what they are. But for us here in our community, Rotary is everything. The connections that we will discuss going through today, almost all of those have some sort of root with our Rotary Foundation here. So my first suggestion to you, if you don't take anything away from it, if you have a staff member and you have a Rotary Club in your area and you have a staff member that you think would fit into that club, well, do it. Make someone from your staff become a part of that Rotary Club and establish those connections. And if you can't, maybe that's not an option, maybe you're a small library, you don't have the staff, or maybe you just don't have the right person, whatever that might be, I still highly encourage you to reach out and find your local clubs, because chances are they are inviting people from the community to come in and speak to them and tell them what they're doing, and they want to know what's happening in the community. They want to know how they can be of assistance or to help people in the community. So I guarantee they would, even if you can't join their club, you can probably still go get on their calendar, speak at one of their luncheons or their dinners, however their meetings may be structured, and just get your information to them. And I can promise that you will not be sorry for that. Our library here made our first real connection with the Rotary Club during COVID, actually, when all the schools shut down, and we were trying to figure out a way to help our students stay connected, and what could we do for the ones that, even though they couldn't come into the library and we couldn't help them here physically, we tried to figure out a way that we could be of assistance to our community. And we knew that the biggest way we could help was to be able to offer the internet, Wi-Fi, to all of the students in our community that did not have that at home already. So we knew we couldn't afford to go out and buy hundreds of Wi-Fi hotspots and give them service and distribute them to all of our students in the area, but we knew we could at least try to make a small dent. So we ended up reaching out to our Rotary Club, and they said, you know what, we want to help. And so initially they, I believe, bought 25 hotspots for us and paid for service for those hotspots for an entire year. So that was kind of the jumping off point for us with that partnership that we've developed, and it's grown into way more than that now. They honestly probably wish they never had accepted me to come speak to them, because every week now I'm like, hey, how can we do this? We're actually currently, I just finished up I know it's a little early, but we just finished up setting a Christmas tree up that the Rotary Club is actually giving away to a family in need here in the community. We just set that up in our library. So we did it back at Easter, gave away a huge Easter basket, and we had a really great response from that. So we decided we were going to do it again this year with Christmas. So like I said, that connection has just been so strong, and I can't really put in enough emphasis on making that partnership if it's available in your area. I will point out that they use our community rooms here. If your library has a space where you can allow meetings to take place, I highly encourage that, and that's actually where our Rotary Club does meet. So I just have a small walk down the hallway every Wednesday for our meetings. But because they do use that room a lot and they're grateful for that, they have replaced things, like brought us new projector screens, a new podium when we needed it. Our flag poles had gotten damaged, they replaced those. So anything, the tables and chairs, anything that room that they can do to better that room, they have very graciously done as much as they could to help us out with that. In return, they get to use the meeting space on a weekly basis, free of charge. So there's just a lot of different ways we are always kind of scratching each other's backs, so to say. So those are some of the ways that Rotary as a club has kind of connected and helped us at our library. But I think another very important aspect is all of the personal connections that I have been able to make throughout the Rotary Club. Our Rotary Club here has members from all walks of life. We have our local judge, our county judge, he is one of our members. The local jeweler is one of our members, bankers, there's, you know, small business owners. There's a little bit from every walk of life that is in that Rotary Club, and we're very fortunate for that. We are a nice sized club, where not every community has that many, but a lot of times those members of that Rotary Club are people that are looking to make a difference and a positive difference in your community. So of course that lines totally up to what your library probably has in mind for you and what you're going to be doing going forward. So we partnered with the local lumber store, who, again, I met him through Rotary. They've donated items for a new pergola that we've had. We've worked, you know, on several different things with the Library of Things. So a lot of those relationships all stemmed from me joining that Rotary Club and getting to know those people and finding out where their strengths lie and how we can communicate those strengths with each other and then build a partnership and help each other out on a very daily basis. So that's kind of my spiel for the Rotary Club. If you're a Rotarian, go Rotarians. If you're not, I highly encourage you to check it out, especially for a staff member to possibly join. It's a great connection that I promise you won't regret doing.
Any kind of volunteer organizations like that, well, I'm sure could fit the same bill, the same thing. If you have, you know,
absolutely,
Kiwanis, anything,
Kiwanis, yeah, there's lots of different. So I just think our experience is just strictly mainly with the Rotary Club, but I do encourage you, find those people that are out there that are doing good in the community, because they're going to want to do good for who doesn't want to help the library, you know? So,
right. And I love your tip about that they use the room. And this is something I hadn't thought about before, but I always try to tell our libraries, you know, look out into your community, what their needs are, and let them know that the library is there for them. They might not even realize that. And just the meeting space, the meeting room, having a space for them to have their meetings or their events or their speakers is like a very low effort. Just, hey, it's available, sign up. But then if it needs updating for some reason, because they want to use it and want to be comfortable in there and want it to look good, that's kind of a little sliding in kind of subtly and like, yes, use this room. Oh, by the way, yes, the lights are terrible and the screen needs updating, but you know, yeah, they will, if they're going to use it, they're going to.
It's hard for them to tell you no when they're doing that. So, okay, so I'll move on a little bit to some more of our community, other community collaborations that we've had. I'll start off with our Nelson County Correctional Facility. I know a lot of places typically have a correctional facility in their area. And when you think of that partnership, it seems a little unorthodox, but we've really turned it into an amazing partnership here. And it all kind of started from tragedy, actually. We, last July, our library flooded on 4th of July. And of course, no one was in it. I think there's like 5-6 days a year, maybe, that there's no one in the building. And of course, it was on a day that nobody was here. A pipe inside burst and our library flooded for about 10 or 12 hours before anyone knew what was happening. So we basically had to gut the place and kind of start over. And it was a major task. It was very daunting. And we ended up trying to figure out ways that we could get people. We just didn't have you would call contractors and they'd show up maybe one day and then they wouldn't the next. And then they'd be here next week, but it's 3 weeks from now. So we were just having a lot of issues. And mainly a lot of the issues were with getting things cleaned up. So we ended up, the jailer, the Nelson County jailer, again, who's a Rotarian friend of mine, I reached out to him, was like, hey, is there anything you guys can do to help us? And they do have a work release program here in Nelson County. So a select few of the inmates who are, you know, nonviolent, non-threatening, they are allowed to go out into the community and perform service, you know, work for the community. In return, you know, they get money in their canteen and things like that. So Justin was able to actually send us out about 5 or 6 guys on a daily basis that got here at 8 in the morning and worked till 5 in the afternoon. And they worked their butts off for us. And they really did help us get this place cleaned up, ready to go back and open back up to the public. So we might still be sitting here, you know, underwater if it hadn't been for some of those guys. So that was just kind of a weird random connection that we were able to establish that really made all the difference to us in the long run. And coming from that, now that the work is over and the library is back open, we haven't stopped working with these guys. They come out in the spring and they help us with our landscaping. In the summer, they help with the landscaping. They clean up our parking lots. And their joy, I know there's some stigma sometimes around having inmates come in, but we have enjoyed and made some of the most beautiful relationships with these people. They've come back in here afterwards because they spent time in here. They're being released. They're coming back in here thanking us for everything that, you know, they didn't have any idea what was going on in here. And then after they come in here and work like that, they've seen this and all the resources, and they come in, they ask for help to get jobs, get their life back on track. So we're really making very great connections with those guys. And from that, yes, absolutely. And so from that has actually grown an even bigger project. The correctional facility has been given a $10,000 grant that they are allowed to use on any project that they see fit that helps the community. So they have chosen to collaborate with us in our local extension office, and the 3 of us together are going to build a big, wonderful, beautiful community garden that the inmates will actually be in charge of physically building for us. We'll have someone come in and design this, and our culinary programs at the schools, our local high schools have got some culinary programs. They're going to collaborate with us. They're going to help us, you know, maintain the gardens. And so we're a really good collaboration that we're working on, hopefully coming this spring to our library, that again, all kind of just stemmed from that connection with the jailer that I made at a Rotary meeting on a random Wednesday afternoon. So you just never know where those connections might lead you. The next I want to talk about is our local schools. And I know that's kind of a, you know, I don't want to beat a dead horse here because I know everybody's always know we should partner with our schools. We know that. But I think it's important to just point that out if you're not, especially, I don't know how your all's local schools are here, but a lot of our local schools here have actually almost done away completely with their libraries in their school systems, and they have one maybe.
Yeah, some have. Yeah.
So that's been unfortunate, but it has opened up doors for us to serve those children in a even, you know, better way. So we have people that we call them FRISC here, Family Resource Youth Center advocates, and we've made strong connections with those people. And we are able to send out all of our information, things that we have going on at the library, our monthly newsletters, summer reading, anything that's a big event or a big program that we really want our student age population to know about. We have 5 members of that team that we just send all our information out to, and they take care of sending it out to their parents. You know, everybody's got digital information now. The text messages through, you know, whatever type of Remind app or Class Dojo or whatever it is that your students are using with their schools. This information is getting passed out digitally to all of these families, and it's not costing us anything. We're not paying to mail stuff out. We're not printing a bunch of flyers that we have to go hand out that end up in the trash can. So they're really good about sharing all of that information in a digital way where it doesn't, like I said, cost us anything. And they also know, they have those family resource ladies and men, they know their students and they know what their students need. And so having that open line of connection between you and those officers would really be beneficial in knowing, hey, this, you know, student might need this or this student might need that. And we do have times where the teachers will ask for specific things for specific children because they know they need it. So just having that line of communication with them. And also we do a lot of, like, they have Black History programs, they have Heritage Months, Heritage Weeks, and the students make these big, beautiful, elaborate art pieces, and they have a end of the year or end of the season party for them, and all of that happens here. All of their artwork is displayed throughout the library. We set it up, they bring it in, they bring their family in, they bring their friends in, look what I've done. They're proud of it. They're proud of, what they're doing. And so they're sometimes bringing in a lot of these people that wouldn't necessarily have made it their way into the library to begin with. So we try the more bizarre things we can bring in, the better. Like, we want things that are out of, you wouldn't think are happening at the library, because those are the types of people we're trying to get in here, are the people that aren't necessarily using the library for the traditional purpose. So we just try to do a lot with them. We also, when I started several years back, our website was just really outdated. Our logo wasn't the best. We didn't have a lot of uniform things going on. And that's, again, kind of why I was brought in here to do this. So, and we didn't have Canva. So I'll point that out. My life was not as easy as it is now. So, and I had no graphic design experience. I wasn't very good with that sort of thing. So I thought, what are we going to do to make this all, improve this? And so that's when we reached out to our local high school who has a graphic design course that their children can participate in. And so we ended up partnering with some of these students that were interested in taking on some of the roles that we needed filled. So to design some flyers for us, to help us with our logo, to help us redo our website. And so not only did it not cost us anything, we established relationships with these students. Some of them, went on to pursue library science degrees. So there's great connections there, and it helped us in a way that we weren't able to help ourselves. So lots of great connections with that, and the kids got credit hours and experience by doing those things for us. So I highly encourage, if you haven't already, definitely check out ways that you can help with your local schools and how they can be a benefit to you. Next, our healthcare providers. A lot of times your healthcare providers in your community, and you may or may not know, have a lot of resources that they can offer the community, from any kind of health screenings or anything like that. They're a great partnership to have, and it's a great thing to host those inside your library. Get those people that are coming in for those health cares or their blood. We have a blood drive here quarterly that gets very great response. We have a blood pressure machine that you can check your blood pressure inside the library. So, and that was something that started with a partnership at our local with our local hospital here. So there just lots of different ways that those healthcare providers can really be a bridge for you. Of course, I think this goes without saying as well, your local chamber of commerce, they can always be great assets. We work with ours in a way that they have a lot of events that they host throughout the year, and they make sure to host at least 3 or 4 of those events here inside our library in our meeting rooms, so that they're bringing the community in to see us and to get and they will cross promote all of our programs. We have a great relationship with them, where anything that we put out on social media, they are sharing and tagging and sending out they send out a weekly what's happening in your community letter, a weekly newsletter. A lot of our programs are featured in those. They they make us a business of the month once a year. And so there's a lot of ways that you can really make a connection with them. And one of the biggest things that we do, and I'm not necessarily chamber related, but community related, we are the only voting area in the county. So it's a nightmare those couple days when election time. Luckily this year there was no local election for us, so that wasn't a problem for us this year. But when there are local elections, all of the voting is cast here at our library, which means thousands and thousands and thousands of people are coming through this library. And now that you have early voting, so you've got several days leading up to it that they're coming in, and then on election day they're here. If that is something that your library is doing, make sure that you have strategically set up the line to do so, to stretch through your library so that they are seeing everything that they can possibly see, and not just walking in the door and heading straight down a hallway and going into a room and voting. So wind that line through those stack of books, wind it around the children's area, just get them seeing everything in and then strategically place material that they're standing there. And for our community, sometimes it's hours that they're standing in line. They're bored, they have nothing else to do or look at. And so put your information right in front of them when you have them trapped, and you can get in their ear. And we actually had a little girl that works, well, I shouldn't call her a little girl, she's just a younger girl. She, very enthusiastic, very bubbly. She actually walked around with a laptop on a cart and walked through down the line and asked, do you have a library card? Would you like a library card? And she signed up at 50 people, I think, during election time for new library cards. So just always finding a way to capitalize on getting the attention of your patrons that you may or may not have ever been in this building. So
It's like those impulse buys at the grocery store when you're stuck in line and there's the candy, there's the magazines. Sure.
Absolutely. And then, it might be something you never know you needed. You get your new library card, and then you get a welcome message from us. Within that welcome message, it highlights all of the things that are available to you and what we do. And a lot of people, I didn't know that. I had no idea. And so, it's constantly kind of keeping that, the option there to how can we make more and more and more and more connections. And you don't have to have someone on your staff that is like, the young lady I was talking about who's bubbly and, everywhere, just being, I think just being there in the community, letting people see you in their face constantly. Eventually somebody's going to have to ask themselves, what are they doing over there? Or what's happening there? And people always stop me out in public. They're like, your library parking lot is always so full. What is going on? I'm like, well, there's a Friday morning yoga class that 50 ladies are beating each other down to get into in the mornings. And some of them may never step foot into this side of the library, and they may never check out a book, but they're faithfully at that yoga class every Friday morning. And when it comes time for them to get their taxes in the mail and they're paying that library tax, they think about that free Friday morning yoga class that they've been taking for several months, and they're a lot less angry about what they're paying in for their library tax had they not been using the facility at all. So no, we're not always getting people in here to check out the books or to increase our, we are just getting them in here to see what we're doing, to have some respect for it, and to think about that when they're thinking about paying those taxes or supporting the library. So a lot of moving parts, but there's just no bad opportunity, I think, that to make a connection. There's just no bad connection to be made. And one of the next ones I want to talk about is kind of one of our funner connections, our local bars. But let's be honest, a beer and a book together sounds a little more interesting than a book club that meets in the back library meeting room, right? Like, let's just be honest with each other. So by taking some of your programs that you're having and moving them outside, it's kind of on the flip side. We're trying to bring people in, but we're also making sure that we are taking our programs out and going out into the community and being in the community and meeting in places that do appeal to people. There's a lot of people that going to the bar and having a beer and a book sounds a lot more appealing to them than coming here at the library where, maybe they owe fines or whatever it might be that they haven't been in the library for a long time. But if we get them in that bar and make that connection, they enjoy the book club, they're coming back, they're making connections with other patrons who say, hey, have you tried this, or have you been here to do that? So it just, to me, is a no-brainer that you make connections with these types of people. Especially, we are the bourbon capital of the world. We have a lot of really nice bourbon bars, so we have months where we do bourbon themed book clubs, and so there's just a lot of ways to collaborate with the people if you have those people in your community. We recently held a book fair, adult book fair, at one of our local bars, and we had one of the best turnouts for any program we've ever had. It was kind of a spicy book club, and the name, it's kind of funny, the name of the restaurant that we go to, the bar, it's called Mr. Tubbs. It used to be an old laundromat way back in the day when they opened it up as a bar and restaurant. They called it Mr. Tubbs, and we call our book club Dirty Laundry. So it's just a fun thing that really gets a lot of, we have I think close to 80 women who signed up to do this book club. We're having to separate it into 2 different sessions, and not to mention the owner of this bar and restaurant's making a lot of money off of the ladies that are coming in there on those evenings. And so it's a very scratch your back, scratch our back kind of thing. And we have a lot of fun with it. That's another thing. We just have a lot of fun with those types of programs. And the patrons have a lot of fun with it too. And again, some of them pick up their book at the book club and they bring it back at the next meeting. They don't step foot into this building, and that's okay. That's okay. We still have made a connection with them. We've gotten their support, and it's okay. The next thing we'll talk about, oh, I don't know what happened to the formatting there, is kind of Donna's. That's kind of more her forte there, but again, she's not here today. So I will just kind of go quickly about a little few of the things that we do with our bookmobile. And I know not everyone is fortunate to have a big fancy new bookmobile like we do. We get that. We didn't have one at one time, and when we did have one, it barely ran half the time. So keep in mind, this doesn't have to necessarily be an actual bookmobile per se. If you have maybe a van or something like that that you can use, a lot of these connections are still kind of the same. Our bookmobile driver, she does go to all of our schools in the area. She has a set time and date that she'll be in their parking lot. The teachers know she's coming. They have the books ready. They get on the bookmobile. They return the books. They get new ones. It's kind of like clockwork. Every 2 weeks, they know she is going to be there, and they look forward to her being there. The daycare facilities as well. She has a set schedule with them where they know they're coming and when the books are due and all of that. So that's just a great way to get those students on the bookmobile and seeing things. And then a lot of times we pass out information with them if we have something special going on. So that goes home with them that day as well. A farmer's market, that's another really fun collaboration that we have. We are fortunate to have a great farmer's market here in our area, and we do take our bookmobile up on Friday mornings, and we set the bookmobile up right in the middle of all of the farmers and the homemakers and everything else. We're right there in the middle of them. Our bookmobile does have an outside TV, so we have music playing or maybe something program wise playing. People can get on, they can get new library cards there. It's just a fun way for our bookmobile to not only be seen but also utilized at that farmers market. So of course, nursing facilities, we do go to a lot of the nursing homes, and some of the patients that can't come out to get on the book, we do have we're fortunate enough, we do have a lift on our bookmobile, so wheelchair patrons can get on and off. But if they can't, we do have pop-up libraries where we take the library into the nursing home itself, set up in the hallway or something like that, and the patrons can then come there, select what they want or return. And we do put book bundles to people who are just kind of bedridden and can't get out. We do put bundles together that we take to those patrons too. So she does a really good job about taking the library outside of the physical building and making our presence known. So she will go set in neighborhoods on we have it on our schedule that the bookmobile will be in such and such neighborhood from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock on Tuesdays or whatever it might be. So the neighborhood kids can come out, they get on the bookmobile and get what they need, and they know that she'll be back in 2 weeks to collect their books and they can get new ones. So it's just a great way for us to take our bookmobile out and make those community connections, again, that may not be coming into the library itself. So, excuse me. So if you are fortunate to have a bookmobile, definitely get out there and just have it seen. Park it in the front parking lot where everybody can see it, or whatever you have to do to make sure somebody's seeing that. So the last couple things I want to talk about, I won't keep you guys too much longer, are just kind of miscellaneous things that you can, capitalize on that sometimes you don't think about. Grants. There are so many grants out there that are available to you that you might not know about. And so one of the ways that we're really good about keeping up with what is available to us is we have a Rotary member who does a lot of grant writing, and he works for local government. So he is always, I've got him on the line. He knows if there's something that comes available that is related to the library or something we might be able to take advantage of, he immediately notifies me, hey, this might be something that works for you guys. Why don't you let me help you fill this out or do it. So find somebody that's good at that and knows things about it, and have them just be in connect, constantly ask him how that might apply to your library. So and we all, even if it doesn't matter what your budget is, having a grant is always great. Never fun to write on, but they're always fun to have, or fun to get. So we spoke a little bit earlier just about like the heritage nights and the programs. Again, anytime that you can celebrate local traditions, like if your town is famous for something, or if there's just something that whatever it may be, food, history, whatever, capitalize on that and showcase that to the community through different things like the art fest or anything that you can get people in that wouldn't normally be in here for. And really play that up during the seasons. We do a seed library. I know a lot of libraries do that now. But now with the new garden,
you want to switch you've got your slides showing the presenter view still because of the one slide that was.
let's see.
You just do the display settings and swap them from.
It's still not showing. Can you see it now?
Perfect. Yep.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys.
No problem. And I will let everyone know while we're talking about the slides too and doing this, the slides will be available for you afterwards as well. So all these ideas and everything that Tara's talking about, you'll have access to all of this afterwards with the show recording.
Yep. Sorry. So like I said, really play it up during those seasons in the spring, in the summer, in the fall, canning season, harvest in the fall, anything like that. Really try to promote all of those things during that time of year when people are excited about it and they want to get into all of it. And use your local extension offices, because like I said, we have a great relationship with our extension office. A lot of times they donate all the seeds that we need for our seed library. They do programs for all of our patrons on what seeds to plant when to harvest when. So they're a huge wealth of information, and it's great partnership to have to help people out in your community. Friends of the Library is one of those things I will say, if you're fortunate enough to have that in your community, it is great. For whatever reason, it does not work in our community. It just doesn't, we don't know. We've tried it and it's failed. I don't know what we're doing wrong, but I have heard lots of success programs through the Friends of the Library program. So if you don't have that going on, think about trying to see, what that's all about and if that fits into something that maybe works for your library. One of the things I think that has gotten the most people in our community into this building is our Library of Things, which is, it's funny, but it makes sense. Like I said, the more bizarre, a lot of times, the more interaction you get with your community. So the Library of Things is something where we have, crafting machines, tire gauges, walkers for, elderly patients. We have knee scooters, we have puzzle, just anything you can think of. We've got it here. And so people always walk it. We have fishing poles that were donated to us from our local Fish and Wildlife. So people walk, you have that. And we do. We have a great collection of things for Library of Things. And I don't think we've ever spent a penny on that, because we have used those people that we have made those connections with, and they've donated those things. Our local hardware store, the owner is a Rotarian. He donates, different pieces of equipment that we might need. The crafting machine was donated by someone in our Rotary Club. We actually sent out a patron email survey and asked patrons what they would like to see in our Library of Things, and then said, well, hey, do you have anything you would like to donate? And the response from that was great as well. We had a lot of people come and donated a lot of things for our Library of Things. So just being able to connect to your patrons in a way that is unconventional, that offers things that are unconventional. It'll help people. You'll always be right there in people's minds. Oh, the library can do that. Oh, I can get that at the library. Oh, the library can help me figure that out. So just getting those everyday connections. And we kind of already talked about the meeting spaces for the public. If you can offer meeting space, absolutely, and offer it to as many people as often as possible for any event that might be going on. Of course, you'll have to have some, we don't let people host birthday parties and stuff like that, but any kind of meeting, business-wise, nonprofit, anything like that, are always welcome to use our facilities free of charge. And the last thing I want to talk about is something really exciting that we have coming up in the next few years, and I think it's going to be great for us. Like I said earlier, on Friday mornings, you've got 50, 60 ladies out here fighting over a yoga spot in our community room. But come in the next couple of years, we've actually partnered with our local aquatic center. We're getting a big, beautiful new aquatic center here in Nelson County. So we have partnered with them, and we have secured a space within that aquatic center that is large enough for us to host all of our exercising classes. So we'll be moving our exercising classes over into that facility, and then also offering a kind of a book vending machine type situation over there. So while it is we are kind of stabbing ourselves in the foot a little bit by taking all of those ladies out of the library, the building itself, and putting them into the aquatic center. But we're also allowing space to double or even triple the amount of patrons that can use, excuse me, guys, use that facility. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there, but we're really excited and looking forward to that connection.
But it is one thing, where you've got the promoting that this is a library supported program out here in the community. Yeah. So
goodness, I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
I think Donna got me sick before she left today.
No.
So, all right, guys. Yeah, that's all I have for you today. If anybody has any questions, of course, my email will be on the slides that we send out. You can email me, or if anyone has anyone now, I think I'll be okay to take a few.
Yeah, do you need to get a drink or something if you have a water or whatever there? Yeah. So if anybody does have any questions, there are some things that have come in. That's great. Type into the questions section of your GoToWebinar interface. We do still have about 15 minutes left here of our time, so we have plenty of time for any questions anybody does have for Tara about anything on the presentation. Or if you want to share things that you've done in your library that were successful as well. We'd love to hear about that also. So we do have a question here. Someone wants to know about marketing. Someone says, I'm interested in how you marketed the Spicy Book Club. Can you elaborate on that?
Well, so the way it started, we actually started with the adult book fair. And that was kind of just hey, we're having a book fair. It's for adults. Kind of, it was kind of started off that host, the Scholastic Book Fair as a kid.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because I know a lot of people do. I see a lot of people talk about it online. It'd be great if they did an adult Scholastic book.
So if we were
for us.
Yeah, we were playing off the nostalgia of the Scholastic Book Fair. So we're gonna have an adult book fair, and it started off at the Mr. Tubbs restaurant, but it did not start off within mind of having a spicy book club. It just kind of morphed into that, and the location just kind of fit for a fun title of it. So what we did is during that adult book fair, we had a table set up that had a questionnaire that said, what types of book clubs would you like to see in our area? And the Spicy Book Club was an option on that. And then from there, we took those people and asked them, how spicy of a book club do you want to get here? And so we're really just kind of in the early stages of this. It'll be our first meeting. But we have had over 80 ladies sign up for it. So
wow.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Well, that's very let's see here. Do this for now. All right. So we'll wait for Tara to come back and get herself back all situated here. If anybody, Ed, what other questions does anybody have? Anything else you want to hear about from her? We can get her back with us. So hold on just for a few minutes here, everyone, while she's getting a drink. There we go. That's all right, not a problem. It happens. So yeah, thank you about the information about that new book club. Yeah, we'll be interested to see how that goes.
Donna's in charge of that, so Donna could really elaborate a lot better on that. So definitely, if you want to reach out, send us an email. Donna can definitely elaborate a little bit more on, because it is tricky to market something like that. So yeah, you got to be careful.
You want to be.
There's absolutely a thin line you have to walk there. So I would definitely encourage doing some research on that before you do market it. So,
but it is something obviously very adult specific. So yeah.
Yes.
Someone wants to know, do you have, and I don't know if you mentioned, book clubs for any of the teens or children that you're, or is that
We
something?
do. So the Bookmobile will go to a lot of the, not necessarily the daycare ages, but kind of the early childhood ages. They'll do a book club, and she'll go and they'll take little props or things like that and have a little presentation with them at the end and stuff like that. Our teens do have a book club as well. We have lots and lots. I think we have like 10 or 12 different book clubs with all different ages and, focuses. We have a Around the World book club, where they focus on a different book from all around the world, every month. So a lot of fun. We do a lot of emphasis on our book clubs, but we make them fun. They're not your traditional, very untraditional book clubs.
They are becoming really big in libraries. Yeah, I mean, there's, you always hear about there is a book club, but I have, we've got many libraries here in Nebraska too that have multiple different ones going on that they run all at the same time. And I just find that amazing.
Yeah, and we're very fortunate. We have
so many different groups.
Yeah, and we're fortunate if we have the staff. Not every library has enough staff to do that, but we're very fortunate. We have a 30-something staff members, and 4 or 5 of them kind of run with the book clubs and have a lot of fun, different things that they do. They usually have a theme, and they get fed. Patrons get fed. And if we go to the bars or stuff like that, obviously anything that they purchase, that's on them. But we will maybe order a pizza or something like that. So the book clubs are just a lot of fun. They're a large part of our budget, but they're a lot of fun. So.
Hey, it's one big thing for people to use in the library. Absolutely, yeah. We have here in Nebraska, we loan out from here at the Library Commission book club kits. So that's I think the hardest part is someone saying you getting all of these. How many copies of the same book do you need to get, and how do you get them?
Yes. Yeah, we have a lot of book club kits as well, especially, once our book club is finished with them, we'll just catalog them, put them in a kit, and then people can check them out for their own personal, book clubs that they might have. So
nice. All right. Does anybody else have any other questions? We had a few come in here. That was great. We've gotten those answered. I am going to, while we're waiting to see, I'm going to pull presenter control back to my screen here. Slowly, there it goes. If you have any other questions, go ahead and type in. We can answer them. But I will start doing our little wrap up here at the end. So Tara, this is great. So much good information and resources here. I think it's a lot for people to get to so many ideas that you all are doing. And I think that's just amazing. Yeah. And like you said, having the staff to do it helps a lot too. But I think anybody can just, like you said, pick the one things that maybe is in your community, like the Rotary or the Kiwanis, or if you do have a friends group, definitely friends group or foundation. Definitely depend on them to help you with these kind of things. That's their job.
That's their mission. Absolutely. Yeah. Their mission is to help others, and who wouldn't want to help the library? So
yeah, absolutely. And any stakeholders who you can talk to, and you never know where you're going to make that connection, like you said, and you just got to be open-minded, be always talking about the library, always be thinking about, don't be too pushy, but be always thinking about who can I mention that we're doing this event, or hey, would you like to be involved in this?
Absolutely. Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well, I don't see any other desperate questions coming in, but I guess like Tara said, their contact information will be on the slides. You can always reach out to them later to talk about any of the things they've done.
All right, sounds good. Thank you all for having me, and I'm so sorry about my coughing fit.
No, that's fine. You made it through the entire presentation practically. I think we're fine. Hopefully you are not getting sick, and we hope that Donna feels better as well.
Yes, thank you so much. Y'all have a great day.
Yeah, all right. So I'll do my little wrap up here. So thank you everybody for attending. As we said, clicking on the wrong things. There we go. This is our session for today, and as I said, we do have our recording. We are recording the show, and it will be available for everyone. If you use whatever is your search engine of choice and type in the name of our show, NCompass Live, you'll find our main page, and our archive page will come up. This is our main page with our upcoming shows for the next couple of months. We're even getting things booked into in 2026. But right underneath there is a link to the archives. So all of our show archives are here. Everyone who attended today's show and registered for today's show will get an email from me letting you know that the recording is ready. When it is ready, should be by the end of the day tomorrow at the latest. We'll have a link to the YouTube recording of the show and a link to Tara's slides that she's going to send to me later, and they'll be posted on here. So you'll be able to access them here. While we're here, and we'll also push it out onto our social media, we do have, as you saw me click on it, a Facebook page for NCompass Live. So we do promote, here's a reminder to log in today's show, introducing our presenters, and we do post when the recordings are available. So you can look on here. We use the hashtag, little abbreviation of our show name, NComp Live. Whenever we post on here, the Library Commission has its own Facebook page too, and an Instagram account that we use too, so you can see what we're doing there as well. While I'm here on the archive page, I'll show you there is a search feature. If you want to see if we've done a topic on a show on any particular topic you're interested in, you could do it, search our page here. You can search the full show archives or just the most recent 12 months if you just want something in the last year. And that is because this is a very long page that I will not scroll all the way down because you can see it is very long. It's just how we've kept things up. But this is our full show archives going back to when NCompass Live first premiered, which was in January 2009. So we are in this year, 17th year of the show. And we have all of our shows here on this page. So do pay attention to the original broadcast date of anything you watch. They all have a date here. Some things will be fine to watch, will be good to watch, stand the test of time, still be good, useful resources and information. But some things will become old and outdated. Links may be broken, resources may have changed drastically. People may work at different places than when they presented for us 10 years ago. But this is something libraries do. We keep things for historical purposes, and as long as we have a place to keep all of our show archives, which right now is the Library Commission's YouTube channel, we will always have them up and available for you to watch. All right, so and back to our main page here. So that will wrap it up for today's show. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you so much, Tara. It was a great session. Here, as I said, we've got our shows all booked out November, December, into January. Nothing on here yet for December. We're always here every Wednesday, but December 24th is the day before Christmas. I'm contemplating taking that day off. We'll see. We might skip that week. So keep an eye on our schedule here. I hope you'll join us next week when we're talking about becoming a daily destination for your community. There's always something happening at the library. Melanie Weigel, who's from the Forsyth Public Library in Illinois, will be joining us to talk about how they re-energize their programming at their library. So if you're looking for programming ideas, this is definitely a session for you. And please do register for that or any of our other upcoming shows. All right, thank you everybody, and hopefully we'll see you all on a future episode of NCompass Live. Bye-bye.